Wish I did have a mute button for everybody. I'm kidding. So good morning, everybody. Welcome, welcome. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. Happy almost end of February. That's possible. But here we are. So my thought for you today is I woke up yesterday morning with this story running through my head, right? And this happens in yoga teacher mind sometimes, as you wake up and there's a teaching in your mind and you're like, oh, that's what I'm teaching today. I'm teaching it again. But the story is one that I'm just going to call the story of the leaky bucket. So here we go. So how this story goes is take yourself back to kind of this old world, India kind of area. And there's the story of a man who every day has to walk a very far distance to go get water, right? Because in his village, there's not water nearby. So he has to walk a very far way to go pick up water. And he does that by carrying 2 buckets on the end of stick, right? So the stick goes across the back of his shoulders and there's a bucket hanging on either end of it. So he walks every day with the empty buckets up to where the water is. And then he fills both of his buckets and he walks back every day carrying those buckets over his shoulders. One of the buckets is perfectly fine. The other bucket has a leak in it. So every day when he walks, he goes and gets his water. And by the time he gets back to the village, one bucket is full of water and the other one is empty because as he's walking, it leaks all the way out. And so people are like, what are you doing? Like, you're wasting so much effort here and it's dumb. Like, get rid of that leaky bucket. It's a waste. It's ruining what you're trying to do here. And there's no benefit to it, right? It's a broken thing. It's an empty bucket. Get rid of it. And he's like, there's all sorts of reasons to not get rid of the bucket because where's he going to get another one? And et cetera, et cetera. This is not a rich guy here. So a bucket is a big deal. And everyone's like, well, there's no benefit here. There's nothing useful. And he says, well, I don't know. And then you actually look at the path that he's been walking, right? He walks the same path every day. And on the one side, as he's walking, the path is like a desert, right? Because that's the area that they live in, very little water. It's like a desert. That's the side where the good bucket is. On the other side of the path, all this greenery has started to grow because every single day as he's walking, that leaky bucket has been watering that side of the path. And so suddenly there's this growth here that no one intended. It's not what he was looking for. You could say that maybe he didn't even realize that's what he was doing, but maybe he did. And maybe that's why he never replaced the bucket, right? So the metaphor here, right, is that we have this practice, this walking the path, as we call it. You're walking the path every day. These are your habits. You walk the same path every single day, right? Same thing, life in front of you. And we think that we're supposed to walk it in this perfect way, right? That we're going to get water, which means we better get every drop of water that we possibly can and don't screw it up. But every one of us has a leaky bucket. The thing, right? We all have leaky buckets. We have parts of us that don't always behave the way that we want them to. Things don't turn out the way that we think that they should, no matter how much effort we put in to try and make it work. It doesn't always work. And then we get upset at that leaky bucket and we say, I've got to throw it away. Better get a new one, right? I'm broken. When in reality, that leaky bucket is what allows for so much goodness to come into the world that you don't even see, right? You might not even be looking at that side of the path because you're so focused on what's in front of you. So we have this beauty in this story of reminding ourselves that those leaky buckets, right, the parts of yourself that you would consider to be your leaky buckets, are still creating great benefit in this world. Even if it's the thing that you fight with every day, I guarantee your fight with it is what makes you more compassionate. It's what makes you more aware, right? It builds that greenery, and in your mind, you're like, it's just a leaky bucket. And everyone around you is like, they're an amazing person. And you think you're a leaky bucket, right? So we have this layer of the story. And then we have the layer of the story where we can say that we want the mind to be like that leaky bucket, to be easily emptied, right? That a spiritual practice isn't about trying to achieve something and hang on to it. It's not just about bringing water back to where you want it to be, but it's about what's going through your mind as you're doing it. Because as you're living your life, if what's going through your mind is that desire to be present with what's in front of you and to bring benefit to whatever's there, can I uplift what's here, right? If that's what's going through your mind like a leaky bucket and it's just falling out into the world and you don't even know where it's going to go, we call that the truest practice, right? So you want your mind to be like a leaky bucket, but you want what's running through it to be the parts of you that are really looking for the greatest benefit, right? And when we have that attitude where what's moving through our mind all the time is this great respect for what's in front of us. So we call that ahimsa, right? When maybe I can't have the perfect action where everything goes right, but I can have my mind in a place where I am doing the absolute best that I can to uplift what's in front of me. Leaky bucket. Let that be what leaks out into the world and see what grows around you, right? So comfortable seat, let your eyes close. Take that story in any direction that you want, but the point, my point for you, is to hang on to your leaky buckets. Don't try and throw them away and get a new one that you think is going to work better. And start to notice how much that leaky bucket that is you creates that benefit in the world that you don't even see. So with the eyes closed, breathe deeply. Feel the chest expand, feel the belly expand. As you exhale, let the breath all the way out, which means you got to get all the way down at the end of that exhale to the base of your belly. Pull the below the navel back and in. So that as you inhale, there's a true releasing of that squeeze and you let the breath rush in like a wave. Then the exhale, there's that easeful letting it go, but then at the end, connect to that ending and let the navel come back and in, press the air out. And then again, inhaling, allowing that expansion to just occur. And exhaling, letting the breath go, drawing the navel back and in. So there's just this beginning of starting to be aware of how you relate to the world around you, even your breath. How do you relate to it? Is your breath just a tool that gets you through the moment, or is your breath an opportunity to feel what's going on inside? Does it help you come to realize the expansiveness of yourself? Or is it just hanging out in the background and you hope it doesn't stop, because if it does, you're in trouble? Just one more moment to be with your breath. And maybe to drop any notion that you're going to do something useful with it. It's a tough one when we hear really do something with your life. Maybe just start living it. Don't worry about where it's going. Just be with it now. One more full breath. At the end of that exhale, pause at the bottom of the breath. So you've actually drawn the navel in, and pause with no breath. And then pump the navel in and out. Hands resting on knees or thighs. Pump your navel in and out, no breath. Good. And then inhale. Exhale all the way out. Again, at the end of that exhale, draw the navel back and in. And with no breath, hold no breath, pump the navel in and out. And then inhale one more time, full breath. And exhaling all the way out. Again, at the end of that exhale, get all the way to the bottom, all the way. Pull the navel back and in, and then pause, no breath, and pump the navel in and out. And then deep breath in. Deep breath out, no holding at the end. Just bring the hands together in front of the heart center, palm to palm. Give them a little rub. It's cold out, wake up your fingers. Good, and then steady the hands at the heart, bringing the elbows nice and wide, lifting the sternum up all the way from the back of your heart through the top of your head, pull up. And then we'll open sound of Om, deep breath in. And let the eyes float open. Nice, you guys. You can release your hands, please. Switch the cross of your legs if you'd like in your seat, or stay where you are. And then just bring the hands to the knees or the thighs again. Begin to circle your torso, so make nice big circles. What's that? I'm sure there is duct tape, but not in every village. I imagine that duct tape is, you know, one of those luxuries. It's like toilet paper. Yeah. Nice, you guys. But that's kind of the point though, right? Is that the mentality of, oh, it's broken, it's not doing what it's supposed to do, I have to fix it, is the mentality that our mind goes through all the time. Whatever is not happening the way I want it to be, I have to judge it. I have to change it. So of course, the spiritual perspective is to look at it for what it actually is. What is it actually doing? And that leaky bucket might not be getting a lot of water back to the village. But what it is doing is creating a landscape that is vastly different than it was, right? Start to turn yourself in the other direction. So pause wherever you are, move your torso the other way. And if you want to add in a little bit of that element of cat and cow, as you inhale, draw the chest forward and wide. And then as you exhale and come back round into your rib cage, dropping the chin. So if you want to add that action, go for it. If you're happy just moving and those spirals, stay with that. And so, of course, when we live in an area where we're like, well, what's the big deal? Just get a better bucket, you know, maybe a metal one that's not going to leak. Sure. And how many times when something happens in your life and you want something inside of you to change, you're like, oh, I can just go get a new one. I should just change myself. How easy is that? Come back to stillness, please. Take your hands back behind your head, elbows wide. Good. Drop the chin so it's neutral with the floor, and then press your head back in towards your hands. Squeeze those elbows towards your ears just a little bit, so you have this feeling like you're isometrically squeezing something between your elbows. And then pull the tips of those elbows down, so it's like you're drawing the arm bones back into the shoulders. And then tilt the sternum up towards the sky, so it's like you're coming into a back bend. Good. Dropping the head back into the hands. Pull the lower rib cage in, drop into your seat, and then lean back just a little. Nice, you guys. And then as you unfold, come all the way up, inhale the arms up overhead. Good, take a twist to your right, left hand to outer right knee, right fingertips back behind you. Good, draw the rib cage back and in, drop into your seat, and then feel that left butt cheek dropping down to the floor. So actually pull it wide. Good, and then inhale yourself back up to center, both arms up alongside your ears. Take a twist to your left, right hand to outer left knee, left fingertips back behind you. Good. Again, noticing if your exhales consistently get down into that lower belly. Good. Draw the ribs back, drop into your seat, and then pull that right butt cheek back and down to the floor. So it's like you're untwisting your pelvis as your ribs continue to turn. Nice. And then come back to center, please, releasing the hands. Go ahead and roll forward onto hands and knees. Nice, Linda. On to hands and knees. You got it. And begin to cat and cow. So knees underneath the hips, hands underneath the shoulders. As you inhale, lengthen the spine, stretching through the belly. Exhale, curl and round, pulling the navel in and up under your ribs. Good. Keep pushing the floor away here. So as you push down into your hands and you push down into your shins, starts to wake up those muscles on the outer shoulders and the outer hips. Good. So don't just focus on the flexion of the spine, but look at pressing into the floor so you maintain that stability of your base. Good. The way I often describe cat and cow is that you're creating 4 pillars with your legs and with your arms. They don't move. What you're doing is you are pulling the spine long between those 4 pillars. So you can imagine that from the center of the spine, the sternum pulls forward towards the tips of your fingers and your tail pulls back, going beyond the sit bones. So the idea is just you're getting super long, but you're not shifting your hips or your shoulders. Nice, you guys. Beautiful. And then bring yourself back to stillness, please, neither arch nor rounded. Good. Tuck the toes, lift the hips, come into downward facing dog. Nice. Pedal your feet just a little bit. Yeah. Good. And then steady both heels down towards the floor. Good. Bend your knees just a little bit so that they are not in that super locked position, right? So not bent towards the floor, but just a little softness in the knees. And then press into the hands here, squeeze your hands and your feet towards each other and feel like you're trying to pull your hips up towards the sky. You can rise up on your tippy toes to make you feel that even more, right? Squeeze your hands and your feet towards each other and pull your butt up, 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 up. That low part of your belly has to really work. Beautiful. And now tuck your chin in towards your chest, round into that upper back, pull the armpits forward over your wrist, come into plank pose. Good. Nice. Push the floor away. So you're pressing through the arms, feeling the chest lifting, and then lift the sternum just a little bit more forward and up towards the tips of your fingers. And then send your inner thighs up and back. Nice, you guys. And then drop the right knee down to the floor underneath your hip. Lift that left leg up parallel to the floor, and then walk the right arm forward in front of you. Take a balance. Keep pressing into that left hand and that right shin. So again, you're creating the stability, pulling up through your rib cage, pulling up through the low belly. Nice, guys. One more deep breath from the back of your throat and the back of your heart. Rise up. Good. And then release that hand down to the floor, please. Drop that left foot. So the leg is still extended, left toes on the floor. Drop that heel to flat, please. And then take the left arm up to the sky. So your back foot comes flat, maybe to a parallel back of your neck. Take the left arm up. Good. Press into that right arm. So again, you're reaching through that left wrist, going as long as you can through your chest. And then lean forward onto that right hand. Float the left leg up parallel to the floor. Left foot. Good. Navel to spine. Nice, you guys. Beautiful. Bend your left knee, put your heel back. Do not reach for your foot. Instead, take your hand behind your head. Good. And then press the head back into your hand. Draw the ribs open, chest open, and pull the top of that left thigh back. But again, you're not reaching for your foot. Just squeeze the heel in. Find the thigh stretch without using your hand. And then extend the legs straight. Take that left arm back up to the sky. Deep breath in. Good. Release that hand. Come back to hands and knees, please. And then tuck the toes, lift the hips, come back into downward facing dog. Nice, you guys. Pedal the feet if you need. Good. And then steady your heels towards the floor again, making sure that the knees are not locked. You're pulling up through that low belly, but you're not pressing backwards through the knee. Good. Come up on the tippy toes again. Squeeze the hands and the feet towards each other. As you squeeze, pull the rib cage in and up, pull that low belly in and up, pull your hips up to the sky. Imagine this kind of like hanging over a monkey bar. You got to pull up. Good. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Feel those arm bones pulling up towards your hips. That's it. Now tuck your chin round into that upper back and bring your armpits forward over your wrist. Come back into plank. And make it a true plank, right? So if you need to move your feet, move your feet. Good. So the sternum is pulling forward towards the tips of your fingers. Roll your weight forward more. And then press back through your heels and feel those hips lifting slightly as you pull your sternum forward. So you're still lengthening your spine here. Push the floor away. Good. Left knee drops down underneath the left hip. Take your right leg up parallel to the floor. Good. Walk the left arm forward in front of you. Take your balance. And try to remember that feeling of pulling equally backwards through your hips. So the top of that left thigh crease is moving back, but your right armpit that's supporting you is pulling forward. So you're still lengthening the spine, same amount. Good. Nice, you guys. Back of the heart lifts up higher. Back of the throat lifts up higher. You got it, Nancy. Nice, Yasmin. Good, Laura. Nice hand. Excellent, you guys. And then release that left hand down to the floor. Take your right toes back to the floor. Leg is still straight. Take that foot to flat so it parallels the back of your mat. Right arm comes to the sky. Good. Push the floor away. So pushing down to that left hand, you feel that lift through your left armpit and then reach as long as you can through your right wrist. Nice, Marla. Got it, Maria. Excellent, Melody. Good, you guys. And then lean forward onto that left wrist a little bit more. Move your weight. And then take that right leg up parallel to the floor. Navel has to draw towards the spine here. Press into your left shin. Good. Nice, you guys. And then bend that right knee, kick your heel back. Do not reach for your foot. Take the right hand back behind your head instead. Press your head back into your hand and feel the sternum lifting as you do. And then draw that right thigh back in space, but curl the heel in towards your butt as much as you can. Right? It's a different pose when you don't think that you have to reach your foot. Heart open. That's it. And then extend the leg back to straight. Stretch that arm back up towards the sky. Nice. Release the hand, please. Release the foot. Come back to downward facing dog. Tuck your toes. Nice. It's really helpful in balancing with long exhales. Pedal the feet just a little bit. So you can say in subtle body terms that the yogis, the sages say that one of our problems is that we are energetically leaky buckets, meaning that we expel a lot of energy unconsciously, things that we think, how we throw our feelings around. So part of this leaky bucket analogy is not to just say, oh, it's fine, whatever comes in goes out, but to pay attention to what it is that you're leaking out. One more deep breath. Hands and feet squeeze towards each other. That's it. And then step the right foot forward between the hands, please. Good. Drop the back heel, baby toe parallels back of your mat. Good. Keep your hands on the floor, but bring both hands inside that front foot. So your back heel is flat, baby toe parallels back. Good. Walk your hands just a little bit to the left until you feel a little bit of resistance. So your front knee continues to point straight ahead. Walk your torso away from that thigh until it feels difficult to keep that alignment. You're moving towards the center of your mat or towards the upper left-hand corner of your mat, but you want to keep that knee forward and bring that butt cheek back and in line with your ankle. So that's the challenge, right? Hips stay where they are, ribs move away, make a little space there. That's it. One more deep breath. As you exhale, press through that front heel, curl into that low belly, and drop your shoulders like your head's going to come to the floor. Good. And then walk yourself all the way to the left. Please come to the center of your mat, straighten that right leg and turn the toes so the feet parallel each other. Squeeze those legs towards each other. Make sure your hands are touching something. And then come up on your tippy toes, pull your hips up towards the sky, squeeze. Good. Scoop into that low belly again, like a monkey bar. Fold. Let your waist get longer. Let your head drop. Let your shoulders drop, but pull your hips up. Good. And then let those heels drop back down towards the floor. Let the breath exhale completely as you drop your head all the way. Low as it'll go. Nice. Excellent, you guys. Turn your left toes out towards the back of your mat. Yeah. All the way out so that they point to the back of your mat. Walk your hand towards that left foot, but keep your right foot exactly as it is. Keep that right foot flat. Good. Bend that left knee so it's coming into that same warrior two position, but you're keeping your hands on the floor. Lift that inner edge of the right thigh a little higher so you stay anchored in that back foot. Good. And now that your knee is oriented pointing towards that second toe, walk your hands just a little bit back to the right. Find the resistance on this side. Moving your side waist away from that hip. Good. Keep lifting that right inner thigh, but you don't have to move very far here. Most of us don't need to move very far to feel a lot. Good. Nice, you guys. Keep both inner thighs widening. Keep that left butt cheek drawing back and in line with your ankles. Good. Next exhale, go ahead, press through that front heel. Let your elbows bend, drop your shoulders, but curl into your low belly. Stay connected to your feet. Nice. And then walk yourself back to the right, please, back to the center of your mat. Turn those left toes as you straighten the leg back to Prasarita Padottanasana. Good. Just don't wide leg. There you go. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Inner thighs in and up. You got it, you guys. Plant that right hand directly underneath you, please. Press the floor away so your chest looks a little higher. Take your left arm up to the sky, final foot. Good. Again, push the floor away so there's that lift for your side waist. Good. And then release and switch. Left hand comes down, press the floor away. Take the right arm up to the sky. Keep pulling your hips nice and wide. So here as you're twisting to the right, left low belly has to pull up. That's it. Good. Release that hand down to the floor, please. Nice job. And then take your hands, your hips come all the way up to stand. But turn your right toes forward towards the top of your mat. Bend the knee, come into warrior two, stretch the arms out and wide. Good. The front knee's over the front ankle. Got it. Stretch out through the top ridge of the shoulders. Good. And then bring the right forearm onto the front thigh. Stick your left arm over your ear, come into side angle. And let that right knee go truly over the front ankle and then pull to the top of that left inner thigh. Good. Nice, you guys. Squeeze the feet towards each other. Try and move that right armpit more towards the top of your mat, get longer. Good. And just so you really feel like it, stretch that right arm off of your thigh, take it underneath your ear so both hands reach the top of your mat, covering your side angle. Good. Turn that left armpit open to the sky. That's it. And then cartwheel the arms back up into warrior two, please. Nice job. Straighten the right thigh. Take your hands back behind you. Interlace your fingers at the low spine. Good. Watch where that knee is, right? So rebend that front knee just a little bit so that you can see that it's pointing at that second toe. And then as you start to straighten the leg for triangle, make sure that your knee continues to point in that same direction. Don't let it turn in or out. Good. Shrug the shoulders up towards your ears. Hug the upper arms. Start to draw the arms towards straight. So you're still upright. Arms towards straight. Draw your ribs in. Turn that left rib cage open. Don't let your knee turn. And then start to lean towards that triangle pose, reaching your hands towards that back heel. Squeeze the feet towards each other. You got to really pull up through that left hip. Good. So don't collapse in the right thigh. I know this is not the most fun way to do triangle. Turn your left armpit open towards the sky. Left armpit open, open, open. Yeah. Beautiful. Now extend both arms alongside your ears again in that triangle pose. Also not the most fun way to do triangle. Good. Deep breath. Squeeze those legs. Nice. Let that right hand touch down to the front leg floor, blocking the left arm to the sky. Probably your preferred way to do triangle. Good. Nice, you guys. Right side waist gets a little longer. Deep breath in. Beautiful. Bend the right knee. Please release both hands down to the floor. Spin your back heel up, and then step back to downward facing dog. Beautiful. Slide forward to plank pose, please. Upward push up. Good. Lower down slow to your belly. Beautiful. Rise up into cobra, pointing the toes back behind you. Lift up head, neck, and chest. And then exhale, release, downward facing dog. Touch your toes. Nice. Left foot steps forward in front of you. Good. Drop the back heel, baby toe parallel back of your mat. Cartwheel the arms up to warrior two. Nice, you guys. Watch where that front knee is pointing, right? So you're paying attention to the knee over the ankle, that feeling of dropping down into the feet, but then pulling up through the side waist, right? That's important. So you get that sense of lifting through the side ribs, and then bring the left forearm to the front side, right arm comes over the ear, side angle. Continue to feel like you are trying to lift through your side ribs. Good. So that left armpit is actually sliding forward as that right rib cage draws in, softens in. Nice, you guys. And then feel that top of that right inner thigh pulling up and back. Good. You got it, Susan. Nice, Meredith. Really good, Marjorie. Nice, Heidi. Excellent, you guys. Right arm stays where it is. Squeeze the leg. Float your left arm up underneath your left ear. So both hands reaching towards the top of your mat. Don't come out of the lunge, right? Bring your lunge deeper because you're reaching through that side waist. Good. Cartwheel the arms all the way back up into warrior two. Nice job. Straighten the left leg, please. Noticing that your knee continues to point the same place that it was when it was bent. If you don't know what it's doing, bend your knee again so you can see. And then start to straighten the leg, keeping that knee pointing towards the second or third toe. So you're controlling the rotation. Take the hands back behind you, interlace your fingers, shrug your shoulders up towards your ears, hug the upper arm, and then start to draw the arms towards straight. Good. Draw your rib cage in, drop your tail. And then turn that right rib cage open, start to lean in your shoulders towards triangle pose, but draw your hands towards that back heel. Good. Nice, you guys. The legs are straight, but watch that that front knee doesn't lock. So you have to bring that shin forward and pull the legs up into your low belly. Pull your hips up. That's it. Nice, you guys. You got it. Throat back, Melody. Nice, Linda. Beautiful, Becca. You got it. Nice, Diane. Excellent, you guys. Stretch the arms alongside your ears. Again, not quite the triangle pose that you want, but the one that you need. Turn your right armpit open a little bit more. Yeah, good. And then let that left hand touch down, front leg floor, block right arm to the sky. Trikonasana, as you've known it. Breathe through your chest, breathe through the back of your ribs. Good. Watch that tendency to push forward through the ribs here. Instead, draw your rib cage back like you're trying to actually draw your upper body in line with your thigh. Let the head drop back. Good. And let that right arm slide forward, soften. Beautiful. Right? Sometimes our leakiness is that we try too hard. Not that we're not trying enough or things aren't going right, is that we just become obsessive. One more deep breath. Good, and then bend that left knee, please. Release both hands down to the floor, spin that back heel up, step back, downward facing dog. So the leaky bucket metaphor for the mind is to let the mind be a place where things run smooth, where we're not hanging on to any particular way of things needing to be. Come forward to plank pose, upward push-up. Good. Lower down slow, coming through knees first if you need. Point the toes back behind you, rise up into cobra, lifting up head, neck, and chest. Good. And then exhale, release back to your belly, please. Come up onto your forearms, or space pose, forearms in front of you or underneath you. Good, palms flat to the floor. Nice, you guys. As you press down, drag backwards on the arm, so it feels like that lower edge of your shoulder blades are pulling forward, then your chest lifts like crazy. Nice, you guys. You should feel your lower rib cage drawing in and up away from the floor to pull the heart higher. Excellent. Good. And then drop your chin in and back towards your chest. So look back towards your belly button, tuck your toes under here, and then lift your hips up off the floor, come into a forearm plank. Good. Feel yourself pulling backwards on the elbows as your armpits pull forward towards the top of your mat. Nice. And then lift the back of your throat. That's it. Excellent, you guys. Can you step your right foot wider to the right? And then step it back to center. And then take your left foot wider to the left. And then step it back to center. And then do the right leg again. And then do the left leg again. And do the right leg again. Do the left leg again. Nice. And then go ahead and drop your hips back down to the floor. Excellent. Make a little pillow with your hands, let the forehead come to rest. Tricked you. I think probably maybe one of the worst tortures out there is, I forgot what they call them, but where you're basically doing, they call them like jumping jacks and plank. So you're holding plank, you jump your feet wide and then back together and wide and back together. I wonder who comes up with this stuff. Breathe really deeply. We want the mind to be a place where things can process, things can move. We also want it to be a place where what rises up in us is not only what our mind is generating as our issues or problems. There's always that conversation that there's an innate goodness in us that we habitually ignore because our mind is always looking at the things we're doing wrong. So the leaky bucket can sometimes be that metaphor. Can you allow that innate goodness to just fall from you? Instead of trying to maintain that only people will see my goodness, let them just see all of you. Be completely present for your life, and whatever happens, benefit will occur. One more deep breath. Good. I'm going to go ahead and stretch your hands, reaching back towards your feet, palms facing down. So don't reach for your feet, just reach your arms backwards towards your feet, palms facing down. And then press through the front edge of your pelvic bones. Good. So you're drawing down and forward through that low part of your pelvis and feeling the lower belly and the lower ribs start to squeeze towards each other. And then lift your legs up off the floor. And then pressing into the hands, lift your upper chest up off the floor. So you're coming into locust pose. Push down into the hands to get that lift of your chest first. And then float the arms up alongside you. Nice, you guys. So this feeling of pulling away from the floor, not by pushing your belly in towards the floor, but by elevating up for your ribs in. The only part of your floor pushing, only part of your body pushing down towards the floor is that low tip of your pelvis. Good. Now, optional here is to bend your knees, kick your heels in, reach for the feet or the ankles if you'd like, or just bend your knees and lift your arms higher as though you were going to reach for your feet, and don't reach for them. Good. If you have hold of your feet, let yourself rock forward and back. Good. If you're just dreaming of finding your feet, just stay where you are. Nice, you guys. One more breath. Squeeze those inner knees. Excellent. And then slowly release. Nice job. Plant your hands. Press yourself up onto hands and knees. Good. Do a little cat-cow or circling of the hips that feels like it releases tension that may have happened in that last pose. Again, no matter our best intentions, sometimes that is what happens. get too excited. Good. And then take a child's pose. Let your knees go wide, big toes come together to touch. Drop your hips back on your heel. Good. Give a little squeeze of your inner knees. You got it. The leaky bucket is a wonderful thing. You want to know that it's a freedom to have that openness. It's a great thing to have that openness. But it also means that we're not in control of exactly where it goes and what it does. But that's the truth, right? Because we've never been in control of that. What runs through your mind as you live your life that you think everyone else is unconscious of or not aware of matters. Do your best to have your mind in a place where there's a sincere desire, maybe, for things to go well for everyone. If we can master ahimsa, then all the rest of the teachings are encapsulated in that. We don't need to do anything else. Slowly walk yourself back up onto hands and knees. And then come back to downward facing dog. Tuck your toes, lift your hips. You got it. Take the right leg up and back behind you, down dog split. Good. Beautiful. Bring that knee forward towards your nose, armpits over your wrist, and squeeze everything in as you bring your armpits towards the one-legged plank. Squeeze that knee in. Good. And then send that leg up and back behind you again. You got it. And then bring it forward and across your body this time. So knee comes forward, touch that left elbow with your knee. Yep, squeeze everything in and out, keep pushing the floor away. I don't see you touching your elbow. There you go. And then bring it all the way up and back. Nice job. And then go ahead and take that right foot forward between the hands, please. Lunge. Drop your back heel, baby toe parallel the back of your mat. Warrior two. It's cute, right? We hear those cues in our minds. We just say, nah, I'm not going to get there. So we don't try as hard as we could because we're like, I'm not going to get there. Try as hard as you can, right? Pay as much attention as you can and then be okay with wherever you end up. Good. Right forearm on the front side, please. Left arm over the ear, side angle. There you go, Carla. Nice, Nancy. Good, Elisa. Stretch through that arm. Stretch, stretch. Nice, Diane. You got it, Meredith. Good, you guys. One more deep breath here. Good. And then bring the arms back up into warrior two, please. Take your hands back behind you. Interlace your fingers at the low spine. Good. This time, keep that knee pointing straight ahead. Turn your ribs towards the top of your mat. Keep your back heel flat, chest up. And then bow inside that front thigh, taking the arms up and overhead and you mount. Pay attention, though, that that right butt cheek is not pushing out to the side. Keep it drawing in between your ankles. Good. Get your spine nice and long. Maybe you don't bow your head so much so that you can keep that lift for your chest. Good. Deep breath. Pull through that back thigh. Nice. And then release the hands down to the floor, please. Beautiful. Spin your back heel up. Good. And then step that left foot forward just a little bit. Take both legs straight towards Bojjanasana. You got it. Use blocks underneath the hands if you'd like. Good, you guys. Squeeze the feet towards each other. Come up on that front heel. So lift the toes. So that feeling of squeezing is not the feet, but it's pulling the thigh bones all the way up into the pelvis. Good. Left hip spins forward as you drag that right heel back and up. Good. One more deep breath. Look forward. Lift your chest a little higher. There's that feeling of pulling your spine long again from both directions. Good. And then release that right foot back to the floor, please. Bend the right knee. Walk your hands forward in front of you. Step up into standing split. Use blocks underneath those hands still if you'd like. The left leg is lifted parallel to the floor. Good. And then right hand is going to stay planted underneath the shoulder. Again, use blocks if you need. And pay attention to where your shoulder is, right? It's not directly on top of your foot. So move your hand forward. There you go. And then start to stack that left hip on top of the right. Left hand can come to your hip. You're moving into Ardha Chandrasana. So as you pull up, you're stacking that left hip, turning the toes, turning the ribs. And then left arm can come to the sky here if you'd like, or keep it where it is. pull back through your hips, press through that left heel like you're going to find the back of your mat. And then optional is to bend your knee, keep your heel back towards your butt. This time, reach for the ankle if you'd like, or take the hand behind your head and do what you did before. Nice, you guys. Good, and then extend that leg all the way back out to straight if the knee is bent. Beautiful. Gracefully step yourself all the way back to warrior two. Excellent, you guys. Drop the left hand down the back thigh, right palm spins up and back, reverse warrior. Good, keep your breath moving. Nice. And then bring yourself back up to center, please. Straighten the right leg, turn your toes, same direction as your left, so wide-legged stance. Reach back behind you, either to interlace the fingers or hold opposite elbows. Deep breath in and bow forward. Taking the arms up and over if you're holding your hands, keeping your forearms at your lower back, elbows. Good. Really turn those toes forward so the feet are parallel. That's going to help open up that outer hip and IT band. Good. Your IT band, and I try to not go immediately to, oh, I guess we just have to do pigeon and fire log the whole day. Good. Engage your legs, press your hips to the sky. Nice. And then release the hands down to the floor, please. Beautiful. Walk towards the top of your mat. Turn those right toes forward. And then step the left foot forward to the top of your mat. So you're standing forward fold, feet underneath the hips. Good. And take your hands to your hips, come all the way up to stand. Stretch the arms up alongside your ears. Good. So you're going to cross your right ankle in front of your left. So right ankle steps in front of left. You got it. And then right hand is going to hold your left wrist, lean to your right. Yeah. So you're actually stretching that back leg, the supporting leg. Good. Soften those knees. Nice. And then bring yourself back up to center, please. Release the hands, keep your feet where they are, and then bow forward, coming into that cross-legged standing forward fold. Hands back to your blocks. Good. Soften that back knee again. Pull your right low belly up and wide, but try to press your feet flat. Nice. Keep pulling up through that right side low belly, right side hip. Nice, you guys. Got it, Susan. Nancy. Excellent, Debbie. Good, you guys. And then unwind your feet, please. Take your feet as wide as your mat. Bend both knees, drop your hips low so your thighs parallel the floor. Butt is back behind you. Good. And then walk your fingertips back towards your heels. So you're walking your hands back underneath you between your feet. Good. Butt stays slightly lifted. Extend your heart forward. If you want to take your hands to the backs of your heels, you can just bring the between the thumb and first finger and just press into the back of your heels and let your hips drop to touch your upper arms. You can look forward, scoop into that low belly, butt back. Got it, Porter. And then release the hands back to the floor. Please straighten the legs and bow. Nice job. Heel toe your feet closer back underneath your hips. And then take the hands to the hips, come all the way up to stand. A nice little segue, right? Something different. Take your left foot in front of your right. Left ankle crosses in front. Take the arms up alongside your ears. Good. Left hand holds right wrist. Hold to your left. So again, you're stretching that back leg. Good. Soften the back knee. Beautiful. As you're leaning here, you want to feel that lift from the top of your right hip. So you're not just leaning through your ribs, but you're trying to actually pull the whole side body long from the top of that thigh. Bless you. And then come back up to center, please. Release the hands. Keep your feet where they are if you can. And then let the hands come to the floor or block, standing forward fold. Shall we? Nice, you guys. Soften that back knee again. That imagining that your hips are rising up towards the sky continuously is what really helps open up those outer hips and thighs. Because it's not enough to just stretch these muscles. They have to be active while they're stretching for it to really keep, right? So press your feet as flat as you can Pull your hips up towards the sky. Again, like you're over that monkey bar. Pull up. And then drop the chest. Good. Keep the knees soft because it's not important for the knees to be locked here. That's not a better stretch. Good. You got it, you guys. And then slowly release, unwind your feet, please. Take your feet as wide as your mat again. Bend your knees, drop those thighs low. Stretch the arms forward, straight in front of you this time, alongside your ears. Pressing through big toe mounds, baby toe mounds. Widen those inner knees, your inner thighs. And then scoop into that low belly like a downhill skier. You got it. Nice, Elisa. You got it, Melody. Good, Linda. Nice, Dina, Becca. Excellent, Marjorie. Good, Heidi. Release the hands down to the floor. Please straighten your legs and bow. Good. Nice, you guys. Then heel toe your feet just a little closer towards each other. Opportunities here. Come up on your tippy toes. Let your hands touch down to the floor, wide as your shoulders. Start to bend your knees towards a little squat pose coming into crow. Let your weight lean forward onto your hands. You're looking beyond your fingertips. Bend your elbows and squeeze those upper arms. Scoop and round into your navel, below your navel. And then as you lean forward, keep looking forward. Let those knees come towards your upper arms or your upper armpits. Scoop even more into your belly and squeeze those heels in and up and see if that balance happens. Nice. Hug your upper arms towards each other. Push the floor away. Lift your butt nice and high. So butt higher down. Good. Butt higher. Nice. Good, you guys. And then release the feet down to the floor. Straighten the legs and bow. Hold opposite elbows. Let yourself hang. Rock from side to side. Whatever did or didn't happen, you did great. Nice. Arm balancing requires familiarity with what it feels like to be vulnerable. Balance happens right on that edge of falling. And so, yeah, we want to be in conscious awareness of how we are placing ourselves on that edge, but to think that we can control it gets our mind crazy, right? We start to get scared. If I do it wrong, what might happen? Well, also, if you do it perfectly, what might happen? Even if you do a lot of arm balancing, I guarantee you'll have a day where you fall flat on your face. Doesn't make you less of a good person. Release your hands, please. Step your feet back into downward facing dog. Pedal your feet just a little bit. And then steady your heels, please. Take your left leg up and back behind you, down dog split. Good. Bring that knee forward towards your nose, armpits over your wrists. Good. Squeezing it up. You forgot that we didn't do this on the second side.
Well, I was wondering.
And then take the leg up and back, wondering what we were just going to forget about it. Yeah, this time bring the knee forward and across towards your right elbow. So squeeze and lift, push the floor away. Get that knee to your elbow. Go. That's it. Yes, you got it. Thanks, Arena. Take the leg all the way up and back. Excellent. And then step that left foot forward between the hands, please. Good, you guys. Drop that back heel. Baby toe parallels back of your mat. Come into warrior two. Stretching the arms out. Shoulders over your hips. So that widening of the inner knee here still has to happen. And your left butt cheek still has to pull to the back of your mat. Has to slide back in between the ankles. Good. Take your hands back behind you, interlace your fingers at the low spine, shoulders go up, hug the upper arms, draw those arms towards straight, and then turn your ribs forward, bow inside that front knee, stretch your arms up and over and in out. But really press into that back thigh. So that back supporting leg has to do a lot of the work here. And that front knee has to be allowed to come forward, scoop into your belly. Good. Nice, you guys. And then release the hands down to the floor, please. Nice job. Spin your back heel up. Step that right foot forward just a little bit. Take both legs to straight, hard pose, and not. Again, using blocks, moving the hands here. Step your feet a little wider, right and left. Good, because that's how wide your hips are. Excellent, you guys. Come up on that front heel, please. So lift the toes of the front foot all the way up. And dig down and back to that heel, like you're almost going to draw a line through your mat. You're going to draw a groove on your mat with your heel. Good. So those low belly muscles have to really work to pull that thigh up. Excellent, you guys. Come up on your fingertips, lengthen your spine just a little bit more. Again, get that feeling of pulling the chest forward as your hips go back. Really good. And then release that foot back to flat, please. Bend the left knee, walk your hands forward in front of you, step up into standing split. Good. Nobody ever complain about their outer hips and thighs after this. Good. Left hand's going to stay underneath your shoulders. So again, use blocks here if you'd like. You're transitioning to Ardha Chandrasana. So press down to that left hand, get your chest to lift, and then stack that right hip on top of the left. You're opening the pelvis, turning the right toes, and then right arm comes to the sky if you like, or again, that hand can stay at your hip. Turn this hip much down. Nice, you guys. Optional here is to bend that right knee, feeling towards your butt. Reach for the foot if you'd like, or take the hand behind your head. Just remember what it was to reach with your heart and let the foot go where it goes. Nice. Falling as hard as this pose. And then extend all the way back out, arm and leg. Got it. Gracefully step back into warrior two. So that back leg comes back behind you, but you're not just falling, you're reaching into the next pose. Deep breath in. Excellent. Drop that right hand down the back thigh, left palm spins up and back, reverse warrior. Your mind is probably less obsessive right now because you can't think about anything else. Beauty of practice. Don't think about so many things. Come back up to center. Good. Release the hands down to the floor. Spin that back heel up. Did we do a side angle thing again?
I think, yeah.
Oh, well, we're not doing it on this side. Release the hands, spin your back heel up. Oh, you know, did actually get part of Uttanasana. That's okay. Step back into downward facing dog. Yeah, don't worry about it. There's a little pothole in the path. You have to walk around it. It's fine. Come forward to plank pose, upward push up. Lower down slow, coming through knees first if you need. Good. Stretch your arms, reaching back towards your feet, please. Palms facing down. Press through that lower edge of your pelvis again. Float the legs up off the floor. And then lift your upper body up off the floor. Everything from the top of your hip bones up. Try and get that to lift. So don't push your ribs forward. Pull your ribs in. Float the arms up as well. Good. Drop your chin slightly. Lift through the back of your throat. And then optional, bend your knees, kick your heels, and reach for your feet if you'd like. Or stay where you are. If you are holding your feet and you want to do that rocking forward and back on your belly, go for it. Hug those inner knees no matter where you are. Nice, Yasmin. You got it, Marla. Good. And then slowly release, please. Relaxing back to the floor. Make a pillow with your hand. You will not have to stand up again until you leave. Those of you at home, you can stay on the floor all day if you want. Good. Breathe really deeply into the lower back. Notice how you are relating to your breath. That concept of being the leaky bucket, of allowing everything to empty. I don't want you to get paranoid and scared and say, well, what's hanging out in my mind right now is something kind of icky. I don't want that to be shared with the world. Okay, so add that desire that may this find its most beneficial place, land, and let it go. You can always add to it. But if we assume that what's in our mind in this moment is all that we are, that's the illusion that yoga talks about all the time. That's the ignorance. We think that we are what's going on in our mind, and we're not. So like the leaky bucket, you let it go. And even if it does feel a little icky and you're like, oh, I don't know where that comes from, or even better, I do know where that comes from, and ew, add to it. May this find its way to transform into something beautiful. I don't need to know how it's going to happen, but I hope that it will. I do my best to place it that way. So what runs through your mind might be all of that you're scared of, but it might also be that innate goodness that says, I wish for this world, this life that I'm living to be uplifted. However it can. When you hear the mantras, when it says, may I be a part of that, may that be my service. Doesn't mean you have to drop everything and make your whole life about that. You let your mind be in a place where that's happening under the surface, along the way as you just walk the path, whatever you're doing. So we become like that, guy carrying water, but we're going to the grocery store. What passes through us is that desire, may all beings be well. And it's not always going to be perfect, because along with that, it's going to be, I can't believe that jerk did this, and I can't believe this is happening, and I hate that, I don't like this. Don't stress over that. One more breath. And then find your way flipping over onto your back. If you're in the room with me, the way you're facing is perfect. Head facing the center of the room. Home any way you'd like, onto your backs. You bend the knees, please. Take your right ankle on top of your left thigh. Lift your left shin parallel to the floor. Reach through the hole. Good. You have a choice here to either hold behind the thigh. That's what feels nice. Or you can take the hands forward to hold the front of your left shin. If you're holding the front of your shin, let that left heel drop towards your butt. So you're still drawing the legs in, but you're letting that shin drop. If you're holding your thigh, keep your shin lifted. Maybe that makes your decision for you. If you're like, I don't want to keep my shin up, drop it and reach for the front of your knee. Good. Flex your feet no matter what you're doing. But we don't want to be in the kind of leaky bucket where we're unaware of what's moving through us and we're just tossing it out into the world and hoping that somebody else resolves it for us. And that can be a challenge to figure out that that's how we've been relating to life. Okay. You and 99.9% of the population. The great thing is that in a moment you can add, you can change. You can recognize and say, oh, how about I just add this desire for whatever is in me that is sticky or confusing? That may it bring benefit, however it can. May it transform into something that is necessary. You'll be shocked how many times the things you think are your mistakes are the moment that someone else has a great awakening. Because you made a mistake. Hallelujah. Release that foot or that shin, whatever you're holding. Slide your right leg all the way on top of your left. Your knees are stacked. Separate the feet. Reach for your ankles or your feet or Gokasana legs. Try and bringing that low back flat down to the floor. So again, there's that engagement of the low belly. You're folding from the waist, knees in towards your chest. That's it. Don't get obsessive about how wide you can bring your feet. Focus on that squeezing the inner thighs in towards each other. So not just clenching, but rolling the inner thigh towards the center of the body. So you make space where the sit bones can go wide. Lower back can expand. Good. And then slowly unwind the legs. Please bring your right knee in towards your chest. Extend that left leg straight down to the floor. And then come into a final twist, bringing that knee across your body. Then you have a lot of options here. One is straight in. that right leg all the way out, holding behind the thigh or reaching for your ankle or your big toe. So you take that big IT band stretch. Second option is to take that leg that's straight down on the floor, bend that knee, keep your heel back towards your butt, and reach with that right hand for that foot into a quad stretch. So you can do one or both of those things. If you just have no idea what I'm even saying, stay where you are. I should say something about this leg doing that or that angle, and I don't know. If you're already in Shavasana. And then slowly release, come all the way back out, drawing the knee back in for 10 seconds. Good. Place that right foot down to the floor, take your left ankle on top of that right knee, lift that right shin, and then choose, again, either holding behind the thigh and keeping your shin lifted, or reaching to the front of that right shin and letting your heel drop. There you go. You still get the stretch on your foot. Flex your feet. Finish as the teaching give us a remind us that what you are created from, the body and mind, is already whole and perfect. No mistakes were made. So it's an interesting thing to get your mind to reconcile that reality with what it sees of itself every day. If you can, keep that in the back of your mind so that what leaks out of you is, may this add to the perfection. Whatever is falling through, may it add to the perfection. That is truly the practice, right? Whatever water you manage to carry or whatever you manage to accomplish or not accomplish, honestly, no one will remember that, or very few will remember it. They'll remember is what it was like to be in your presence. Nice. Slowly release, please. Drawing that left leg all the way on top of the right. Stack the knees. Separate your feet. Reach from the ankles of the shin. And try to keep the low back anchored down to the floor, drawing the knees up towards the belly. Again, you have to do both of those things with equal sort of attention. So as you're drawing your knees up, it's going to pull your low back away from the floor. So then you have to remind yourself to keep your low back anchored to the floor, and then that's going to change where your knees are. All this cause and effect. Don't get upset about it. The metaphor for the path is that the path is always the middle. The perfection does not mean that everything goes the way you think it should. Perfection is that nothing is missing. So however that appears in a moment, simply have the attitude is, may I add to this? Then slowly release the legs, please, drawing that left knee in towards your chest, send the right leg down to the floor. Take your spinal twist, bringing that knee across your body all the way over. And again, you have many options. So one is to straighten that left leg all the way out in line with your hip. Take that big IT band stretch. Again, you can hold the behind the ankle or the foot if that's available. The other option is to take that leg that is extended down towards the floor, bend the knee, and bring the heel in towards your butt, and reach for the foot or the ankle, quad stretch. Again, one or both of those. Or of course, none of those. Instead, if you're already in Shavasana, go ahead. And slowly begin to release, drawing that knee back in towards the body, squeeze it in. Bring the right knee in as well. Good. Rock on the lower back, bring your forehead up to meet your knees. Whatever is your last hug to yourself. And then slowly release, extending the legs out in front of you, arms alongside you, palms up. I can't imagine that there's anything else you would want to do before Shavasana, but if there is, I would never dream of stopping you if you're like, oh, I headstand. No, I would dream of stopping you. Go to Shavasana. Headstand later. Very gently bring the awareness back to your breath. And watch if there's that thought, oh no, you're just coming back to the world. Come back to it with a gentleness and ease. Let the body begin to stretch and move. And as you're ready, draw your knees in towards your chest and roll to your right side. And taking a moment before you begin to press the floor away, come all the way up to an upright seated position, back where you began. Bringing the hands together in front of the heart center, palm to palm. I cannot recall when I first heard this story if it was indicated if the man walking the path, if he knew that the leaky bucket was watering the path or not. Can't remember if he was doing it on purpose or if it was by accident. But it's really almost more beautiful if he knew that the bucket was leaky and said, yeah, so I'm carrying a little bit of this desire to be in service, carrying a little bit of effort so that what I'm already doing has benefit, not just for me. And so the yogi mentality, they say, is can we just do that? You don't have to stop anything that is in your path, any achievements or anything that you are trying to do. You don't have to stop to be in service. But our minds can always be in a place that says, can I uplift those that are around me in whatever way that I can? Even if it's accidental, may that please happen. That becomes the prayer. We call that ahimsa. That may all beings find what it is that they need for their growth, their fulfillment, their safety, their well-being. And if you can be part of that just from walking your own life, then you will realize the perfection of everything, because you were placed on that path for a reason, with a purpose. Don't obsess about it. Just do what's in front of you. You will be surprised, amazed at the benefit that happens that you never see. Deep breath in for the sound of Om. Sliding the thumbs up to the space between the eyebrows. Namaste. Thank you guys so much. Have a beautiful rest of your day, rest of your week. Enjoy your hips and IT bands. They will feel very exciting today and probably more exciting tomorrow. Enjoy. Please do look at your emails for all the cool stuff coming up. There's the info session about Ireland. So if you are interested in checking that out, please look. The link for that is up in your emails. Neil is doing a meditation, intro to meditation workshop coming up in March. Angela has a kirtan coming up. Dave and I will be back towards the end of March to do another asana and gong healing afternoon. So dates for that will be up very soon as well. So lots of stuff going up, pop-up cooking classes, all sorts of stuff. So take a look.
Thank you.
Thank you. Great class,
Thanks,
Veronica.
Great. Thank you.
Welcome.